Hi.
Hi. Wow. My brain just fried. Anyway, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first stream. My name is Lee.Holderfield. I am a gender fluid writer of all things queer and fantastical. You can find me as Lee.Holderfield.writes on Instagram, YouTube, and AO3. And on AO3, you can find a Great Gatsby-esque Hogwarts fic between a Weasley twin and a Malfoy daughter called Cassiopeia Malfoy, Young Love and Old Money. And it's everything Rowling hates. So if that's your vibe, feel free to come check it out. And we will be with Sam in a minute, but she needed some time to get set up. So I'm also with Michael.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Michael. There's not really much of an intro. I don't think that I need to do at this point. I'm kind of like these days. I'm kind of like AuthorTube's old blind three-legged dog. um, but I'm Michael anyway, and I'm here to write. I do have writing planned for the sprints, and I'm happy to be here. And thanks for inviting me, Lee. Also, and yay.
Yay. Yeah. Sorry, I saw something in the comments we'll talk about later. But yeah, I should also mention that project that I mentioned is what I'm going to be writing today. But I love the tagline of the old three-legged dog. Sorry, that took me out. That was beautiful.
I
I'm not even like I never even got into AuthorTube that much anyway. It's always just for the write-a-thon. So I'm just kind of like pop in and pop out and just keep going back and forth. So like I don't even know what I would be called, but that is glorious explanation on your end. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put that there. Thank you, SD. Please, thank you, possibly.
yeah.
So helloing to all of the friends, Sarah, Lisa, Rainy, me, see me, Luis,
You.
Cool Gamer 2, Cat Paw, and CB. I started shipping the HP pairing. I hate to spiraling. Valid.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, Hello, Joe. I'm still in the middle of my workday, but I have a lot of writing planned for the relay. Sweet. I mean, let's be real. You can use the sprinting time for literally anything.
Sure.
I I always have my first sprint like as a goal of just like getting my brain and my body ready to write because you can go full speed ahead and then you're like, oh shit, I don't have my water, I don't have a snack or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
and so then you just have to go and do the things. So why not just make sure you have everything ready that first sprint, and then you can go into the rest of it having a grand old time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's definitely a write-a-thon is definitely a marathon as opposed to a sprint.
Oh yeah. Hello, Stacy. Uh, oh, I meant to say I shipped the pairing I shipped because of Rowling's evil. I still don't understand what that means, but
I think
I
I get
appreciate your vibes.
it. Yeah.
Yes. Don't forget to take care of yourselves. Again, that first sprint, I'm not going to do any writing. So just if y'all don't like, I know that after every single sprint, people say, I wrote X amount of words, I did this amount of whatever. I'm not going to have anything done by the end of that first sprint. So don't feel the need to be like, shit, there's not enough. Who cares? I
Very
don't care. I'm in the middle of a tedious spreadsheet, so virtual company for it will keep me sane. Valid.
yeah.
Yeah, the what's it called? The like the body doubling. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty late for me and I'm tired, so I'm going to write as much as I can muster, then go to bed. Makes sense. Very, very good job. I don't know if Sam's going to come in time for an intro before our first sprint, but I mean, she can drop in during the sprint and have a grand old time that way. Again, that's what the first sprint is for, is getting your life together. So, yeah. On that note, go ahead and class that he gives me. Again, you don't have to have anything ready yet. This time is purely for you to get ready. So uh, have fun, y'all. Get yourself on the right track. Be on the other side.
Yay.
Hello again.
Hello.
Welcome, our newest co-host.
I'm a hot mess. When you were asking if everything was good, I just thought you meant in general. I was like, yeah, I'm fine.
Well, I was like, I was waiting for the last stream to finish, and then I was like, okay, I'll give Sam like a few minutes to get herself right and get everything she needs, and
No,
then we'll go on. And then you didn't come on, and I was like, okay, guess we're starting.
I'm sorry. I genuinely I made the schedule. I made my post to show my schedule. I'm like, yeah, stream 1, stream 2, and then today I'm like, so I'm on stream 2 and 3. Yeah, cool. So I'll have a break between the opening stream and stream 1. Nope, that's how my brain's going today.
So, again, as I said, this first sprint, I know, Sam, that you missed it, but basically I said the first sprint is just to get your life together. And I feel like, yeah. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to all the things. We already kind of went through that on our side.
Well, I am writing mom Samantha Nasset. On my channel, I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things, and also a lot migraines and dyslexia and writing and just dealing with things while dealing with those, which probably going to talk about a lot this weekend because I was supposed to go grocery shopping this morning, and I woke up and I was like, nope, it is not safe for me to drive today. So
gotta love it.
Fear not, the children will not starve. They still have plenty of food. But yeah. Oh, I have a newsletter that if you go to my website, samanthaalnasset.com, you can sign up for the newsletter. I will be recruiting beta readers soon for my short story, Not for Her. So
nice. All right, so let's get back into the chat. I'm gonna, quickly put that on the screen, but I feel like we've already discussed that, so it's okay. Hello, Eva. And apparently someone else had, grocery shopping to do, so hello, CB. I don't know what Sting in concert is, but that sounds interesting.
Sting is a performer.
Okay. I mean, I figured, but past that, I know nothing. Hello, Richard. I'm glad that you're excited. Gotcha. Nice. So Sting has been around for a while. So Richard, basically part of my intro is I talked about a fan fiction that I have that's already has like 100,000 plus words out. So, if you want to check it out, cool. But it's a Hogwarts fic that has all of her characters be the people that she hates, just purely out of spite, because, that's just the kind of person that I am. But yeah, so if you love Great Gatsby-esque love stories, we've got the Weasley twins and Malfoys. So, go have some fun. I had no idea this was open in the background and just finished. Oh shit. Oh god. I
She finishes a job interview and then she's like, all right, time to hang with the fam, and we just start talking and she's like, oh fuck.
Oh god. Funny story actually. When I was interviewing for the job previous to this one, I had signed up for an interview on like weeks beforehand, and I had dressed up all nice, and it was going to be right after work finished. And then that day was a dumpster fire, to the point where I was like, thank God I can just go home now. And I looked, and in my email it was like, hey, are you having technical problems getting on the Zoom? And I was like, hi, yes, I definitely just had technical problems and didn't forget that this was a thing today. How are you today?
Yeah, that's what I should have gone with.
I'm glad you gave me an excuse. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, that was a fun day. Hello, Emma.
So Sting has been performing since the 1970s.
That like the
Yeah,
fact
he was
they're still
in
doing
the
it
he was
is
in
crazy.
the Police, which is one of the Police's best known songs is Roxanne, You Don't Have to Put Out the Red Light. And he is also it. I didn't know he was in a band, or he was in a band named Band-Aid. That's new to me. And then also Strontium 90 and Last Exit. He's a singer who band hops a lot. Like, I know of him and I know his songs, but I can never remember off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
By the way, you can hear me, right?
Mhm.
I was like muted for like 5 minutes.
Were you talking and we just didn't notice?
Yeah, I think so. I was talking a fair amount too. I was
I
like
feel bad now.
He's like, damn, they just don't want to talk to me today.
Just Mike,
kind of telling
Michael
you my
just
life
needs to
story.
shh.
And he
Is
goes,
there anything you want to repeat now that you have your voice on?
I think the time's passed, and
Okay.
at least when I was waving at people, they could see that, like there's at least a video part of it, but
Gotcha.
yeah.
Again, all of us are a mess today. It's okay. Rainy got 5. Again, this was just supposed to be a prep stream. You're like, oh yeah, a casual 500 words, and then I also started to watch something else, just for the memes. Congratulations.
To be fair, Rainy was at the opening ceremony, and a lot of people use the opening ceremony as their prep stream.
Fair enough. That's true. Stacy got some words and needs to get dinner started.
Food.
Yeah, I ate before now, but fair enough. Don't forget to boop the like button, mayhaps, please. Thank you. And Emma and Richard are having a little battle. I'm scared. I am scared by this comment.
The word behave looks a little bit like beehive, doesn't it?
It does. Trust,
Yeah.
I have made that mistake many a time.
Yeah.
Apparently, Richard wants to look into your stuff, Sam. And apparently, speaking of words that look or sound the same, sounded like parrot things.
I mean, children are parrots to an extent.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Hello. I am also still here. Smart, eating dinner and again getting your life together. Love that. Hello. And CB says migraines are the worst. I know I have what we think is dyspraxia as well as migraines, and what we suspect is dyscalculia and dysgraphia. Whew.
If you guys want to know what all of those are, I actually have a couple of videos on my channel called the Dys Disorders, because when I was looking at, I knew what dyslexia was, and I wanted to make a video on it because I felt at the time that it was mislabeled because it was considered a reading disorder, but really it's a communication disorder because it affects all areas of your ability to communicate.
Right.
It is, which I feel validated because in recent years they have worked on switching over what it is categorized as, because it does affect more than just reading. I mean, for some people with dyslexia, the reading issues aren't even that big of issues compared to everything else. That's why I went undiagnosed for so long. And I discovered all these other disorders that began with dys. And so I made a video on dyscalculia, dyspraxia, dysgraphia, and a couple others, I think. It's been years, and I currently have a migraine. So other than dyscalculia, I don't remember what the rest are. But dyscalculia is basically numbers dyslexia.
Yeah. I want to say dysgraphia is the writing side. But just to get on a very quick soapbox, as a deaf educator, it wasn't until 2 years ago that deaf kids were allowed to have the dyslexia label. It was 2 years ago because so much of the dyslexia testing to get the label is sound based. And so they were like, if you have any sort of hearing loss, we can't even test you. like they wouldn't even try. And so it was very hard to like say, hey, this kid has something going on, and we know something's going on, but the parent doesn't believe us because there's no, like, they're just like, they're deaf, you should be able to do this. And we're like, no, there's other things going on. But then the like diagnosticians also wouldn't even test to see if it's what we think it is because they legally couldn't. And so it was just a whole thing.
Yeah.
And when the law changed, basically my entire department had a little dance party. It's still like hard to find tests that, you know, match us, but it's
Yeah, like full disclosure, I am not officially diagnosed, but I am not officially diagnosed because to get an official clinical diagnosis at my age in my area, I'd have to pay several $1,000s to go to the college to get tested. Whereas my doctor and my therapist and like just a bunch of other things. So I am self-diagnosed as dyslexia. I mean, as dyslexic, but like,
yeah,
I don't feel I need an official diagnosis at this point. If I'm not dyslexic, I don't know who I am anymore.
Well, it's also like if you can supplement your own like fixings, especially as an adult, like
there's not really a lot they can. There's not a lot they can do for me for my dyslexia as an adult anyway. The way my family raised us was both very forward thinking and backward thinking at the same time, and that we were raised to it was like everybody's brain works differently. Like no two human brains work the same on the planet is how we were raised, right? And so you have to learn to, like, when raising or when helping family or helping friends or something, you kind of have to learn how their brain works so that your two brains can harmonize with communication and stuff. So it's like in that way it was kind of forward thinking because we essentially are just like everybody's divergent. Like, and so, but at the same time, a lot of people in my family hate labels. And so they're like I'm like, oh, I'm dyslexic. And my grandmother will be like, I don't understand why you got to label it. Like, you were just fine. I'm like, you know how much less stupid I would have felt if I had known this? Like, do you know how much better I would have felt about my reading struggles? Like, labels are not evil. So,
yeah, I'm kind of the same way in regards to I feel like I'm autistic. I like have all of the things. My therapist say the same. Literally everyone who like is in my life now is like, how did you not clock this? Just living your life. But my parents are the same way. They're like, you were a special child. You were mature for your age. You were all these things, but like we can't label it because then, you know. But I was just like, why does everyone like low key seem to hate me? And I just don't understand why people say things weird. And it's just why not just say what you mean and be done with it? But like, yeah, it was very frustrating growing up and having that like, why is everyone doing things the way that they do and no one's explaining it? And yeah.
I will say like autism was the one exception.
Interesting.
In my family, because they were like, oh, they might be autistic. Yeah, you should get them tested, see if they are. But I think that's because in school and stuff, there, at least at the time, like, you know, my grandparents and my parents, and when like, you know, special education helped people with like autism and a couple other diagnoses, like they'd get special accommodations and stuff, and dyslexia wasn't even really well known and stuff until later on. So, but I remember I watched a Disney special on dyslexia and I was like, oh, hey, me. And I call my grandmother and I'm like, hey, I think I'm dyslexic. And she's like, probably your grandfather's dyslexic, your mother's dyslexic, your uncle. And like my grandfather and my uncle both have like official diagnosis for dyslexia because they were in the military.
Okay.
That would do it.
Yeah, dyslexia is also like hereditary.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you never mention it? She's like, you coped well enough.
That means I masked well enough. Great, thank you. I pretended. Yes, thank you. But yeah, we are very behind on chat, by the way. We kind of went off topic. CB, if you are willing, I'd love to know like what on earth this diagnosis is, because that is intriguing. Yes, we were also talking about Sting.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was his real name. I always just called him Sting.
Makes sense. He apparently was also on The Simpsons.
Everyone is on The Simpsons at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Also, we have a bit of a tongue twister that I'm not even going to attempt to say because I will.
Because bees in a beehive behave.
They really do. If you think about it.
Yeah.
They're like very strictly regulated in the beehive, the worker bees.
Hive mentality.
How hard does calculate is to spell? Yeah, just a little bit.
I only remember because the word reminds me of Dracula.
Oh, I think of like a calculator.
That's probably what it's based off of.
But
actually,
I also hate when like the word lisp is the way that it is, or stutter is the way that it is. Like, why would you do this to the people that have the thing?
Whoever named these things had a twisted sense of humor. Like, the fear of long words is a very long word.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently, dyspraxia is coordination.
Thank you.
And
okay.
And I'm just going to leave this here. Eva, I agree. Official diagnoses can be wrong as often as self-diagnoses can be right. It's really if the treatment works.
That's very fair. My chronic migraines were diagnosed as, my doctor told me it was diagnosed as severe sinus drainage, but apparently in my medical paperwork, he wrote severe allergies. So.
Oh.
Slight thing about that is I also I have like muscle spasms and tics. I think I have Tourette's or something similar to that effect. But when I went to a neurologist to be like, hey, this is a concern, he was like, nah, you have sleep apnea. And I'm like, where did this come from? He was like, well, if you have insomnia and you don't sleep super well, that would like be why your muscles are doing this the way that they do. And I'm like, okay, but there's also this problem over here that I feel like is more important. And even after I got the CPAP machine, it didn't go in. He's like, nah, we're good. And I'm like, well, fuck you too, I guess. That was the only neurologist in my area that had like my insurance. So I was just kind of like, well, great, awesome.
That's kind of funny, like him telling you that we're good.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
we most definitely are not.
There's a reason I came here today, and the last time.
Maybe what he meant was I'm good, as
yeah.
Good.
He's like, you're fine. I don't. It's whatever. And I'm like, okay.
Like, I don't want to figure out why your nervous system is doing things you don't want it to do.
Precisely. I'm like, it feels like there's like the fact that my neck goes in random directions at any given time. I feel like is a concerning thing to have to say, and the fact that you just don't seem to care. Okay, cool. Anyway, that was way farther into that than I anticipated. Also, the former owner of WWE is dyslexic, and I'm assuming that's his name, Vince.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm gonna butcher that, so I'm sorry. I'm
Vince
real
McMahon?
bad. McMahon? Okay.
Yeah, that's how I've always heard it pronounced.
Okay.
Vince McMahon.
I've never seen it spelled.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't. It's hard to keep up with whose names we are not using anymore. Oh, because she said the former WWE. Okay. Hello, Lisa. I'm glad you are back. I think after those several different TED Talks, we should probably get back into the sprinting now. Thank y'all for listening to our discussions. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the thing again. This will
Got
be
back
my
on
first
track, though.
actual writing screen. What?
I said we got back on track though, so it's all good.
Eventually. Yep. See y'all on the other side. Hello.
Woo!
Mm,
I actually unmuted myself this time.
Everyone able to hear all the things?
Yeah,
This
fine.
is good. I got, I want to say roughly 400 words, but it only says 220 because I was rewriting a scene, so I took out all the stuff and then rewrote it. So I'd
Yeah,
say roughly 400 words written,
the
but
equivalent of 400 words.
yeah. Um,
Nice.
how, or your,
I haven't even said this yet, but I'm doing edits right now. So in my manuscript, I'm doing edits. So I'm just doing a like a complete pass right now where I'm just highlighting edits that I want to make, and just ultimately small ones. And then I'm just going all the way through. And then after that, I can just make another pass, just actually making those edits. So yeah, going good.
when I was prepping for this, when I went back into the project, I read through everything up to this point and wrote all of my notes to remind myself of like the little mannerisms of the characters, any plots that hadn't been tied up yet, and those sorts of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sam, what did you do? I kind of skipped you.
I had to do a lot of momming and some wifing. My youngest, like my, so one of my cousins moved to Michigan, and his kids are with my aunt this week. So his oldest daughter is the same age as my youngest daughter, so they're like pretty tight. And so my daughter's going to stay at my aunt's tonight, and my aunt just got here, so I walked her out to the car and then talked to my aunt for a little bit, and then I came inside, and my husband was getting ready for work, so I made him a PB&J as a work snack, and then we talked, and then I came in here.
Nice.
It's a productive sprint.
Yep. One thing I didn't mention was I had like a doctor call me while we were chatting, and so I went ahead and called them back and scheduled my stuff for next week. But yeah, that's
Oh.
also what I did. Let's see what the people did. I'll take them off. Luis wrote 100 words and got my grand fur baby settled. I'm babysitting the weekend. So I'm okay. I'm gonna ask. Does that mean the dog had kids or your kids had dogs? Which kind of grand fur baby does that mean? I'm curious.
Okay.
If they're babysitting for the weekend, it sounds like their kids have fur babies, and they're babysitting the fur babies while their kids are doing something.
True.
I have a similar arrangement with my mother when we take the kids on our family vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. SD is still slogging through some emails. CV is, I will say, SD, I do not envy you at all. CV is just doing 206 words. And Lisa also did emails and then 4 minutes of reading. So I love that we're all doing like personal productivity as well as writing.
Mm-hmm.
I had a nasty case of writer's block while I was in Houston last month. Nice. I mean, not nice, but just, Houstonian person. It's cool to see, the name up.
Oh.
Hello, yes. Yep, that was the thing. Anyway, Sarah finished the last bit of one chapter and moved on to another. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. I feel like SD mentioned what AWC was for those emails.
The AuthorTube Writing Conference. It is next week.
Yeah. I will say I appreciate all of y'all that do actually do the like setting up of events because my brain could never. So applause to you, Sam. Applause to you, Sarah, and applause to you, SD. Could never be me. My dumbass would get so many things confused. Yeah. But words, brain nowhere key. So fun fact for y'all that didn't hear about this in the chat. I got an email yesterday evening saying that they were coming today to check all the fire alarms, and they do that roughly every 6-ish months. And what that means is for one day, they basically go to each of the buildings and turn all the alarms on. They enter the apartment, make sure it's going off on each of the locations, and then dipping. And it's loud as shit. And I was sitting there going like, this is gonna go off during the stream. Like I know my luck. They're not going to get to my building until it's time for the stream to start.
We're gonna be 1 hour 40 minutes in.
And it's just like, just ears bleeding level loud. So I like had a banner ready to be like, you can watch me grimace. Sorry. I was just gonna mute myself and just be like, hello, sprint time. But I just got the email confirming saying that like whatever maintenance they did does not require them entering each of the apartments, and that it's all fixed without me losing my mind. So you know, yay. That probably means they'll come back in a few weeks to do the actual part, but you know,
Yeah.
it's not. Well, you know, this is going on, so yay. I
feel like that's a small win.
Yes, very much so.
Maybe.
I greatly appreciate not having hearing loss and/or the weirdness of trying to host while things are screaming behind me. But so
it's always good to be able to host without things screaming at you.
Yeah. Is that a parenting joke?
Pet parent. Oh my gosh. The cat Balder sometimes he just roams the house meowing loudly like he's calling for something, and he will not stop until somebody meows loudly back at him.
And is this a pet or a human? Just to make sure that I understood that
Balder
correctly.
is a cat.
Okay.
So my middle child actually, like Balder was doing that around the house the other day. He was just going meow, meow, like, and my child looks at me and he goes, "Why does he do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, if you want him to stop, just meow loudly, and he stops. And he's like, "It makes no sense." And I'm like, "I guess he just wants to make sure we're here."
There was when my cousin was like 7 or 8, he would go around fake biting people. Like he would get this close and go ang, ang, like, and then he would just to like throughout the house go nom, and he would expect one of us to say nom back. And if we didn't, he would go up to the nearest person and go, "Why didn't you nom me back?" And like with the little puppy eyes and everything. And it was just a weird thing that we had to do for a few months.
Well, for 7 years old, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get why it was, but it was just a very odd experience to just that first time of like the puppy dog. Why didn't you know me back? I'm like, I didn't know that was a requirement. I'm so sorry.
Nobody sent me the memo. I will fix this.
I missed that family meeting. I'm sorry. Anyway. So SD said this was the hardest with juggling all the things happening behind the scenes, but it's still going to be a great conference. I do believe that. I'm sure it'll run smoothly now that you've done all the juggling portions.
Yes. I will say we've never had issues getting host for the Storytellers Hearth. Like we've had some issues filling like specific, overnight the dead spots in the middle of the night and stuff, which is why we're not
doing those.
Yeah. But we've never actually, like, when Sarah was originally like working out the schedule, because she's taken over that job because that was Jess's, I was like, how many hosts do we have? And I forgot, I think 8 and we need like 13. And she's like, well, what do we do when this happens? And I'm like, it has never happened before. So I was like, we'll just see how many hosts are willing to do 2 streams instead of 1, and then like we'll do the rest. And so
Speaking of that, I'm also first thing Saturday morning. So if y'all want to come back for that chaos and see me half asleep, you can also do that.
I guess it's in the water this year, Shannon.
No.
The internet water.
Right.
Sorry, that's just an interesting mental image. Yeah, AuthorTube writing conference. Check that out, please. Also, cannot wait. Stacy says dinner is ready. Hubby is home, and it's just about time to eat. Then I can write some more. I mean, that sounds like a great break and/or beginning to your write-a-thon. So, hello, Morgan. Long time no see. Oh crap! I skipped one. Sarah, yeah, it was really strange this year. Same with the co-host. Yeah, I've never been like, I don't know if anyone's gonna be with me before. That was kind of weird. But I will always be like,
if I have to be on every single stream, no one will lack a co-host. Fear not.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Because I was sitting there like, who do I talk to? Because I've tried doing like just normal me streaming by myself. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to talk about. I don't, this is terrible. No.
Since the Storytellers Hearth is supposed to be like a community event, like that's the whole reason we changed the name to the Storytellers Hearth, and we used Hearth because it was like the idea of bringing community and everything together. It was always very important to have at least 2, a host and a co-host at least on stream. It also just makes things far less stressful, and if there's a lull in chat or something, it gives you somebody to talk to. So also like the original one, people like just signed into whatever spots, and then for the next one, Jess would just randomly assign people to people. But for reasons that wasn't ideal. And so we do a mix now so that everybody can recruit their own. But if you ever have trouble recruiting a co-host, you can ask me or Sarah to be like, hey, I need to find somebody, and I will take over recruiting for you. Like I've done it for people in the past and everything. So, because we want to try to make it like as stress-free for hosts as possible, and I am an outgoing extrovert, so any task that involves being social, I am 100% okay
of which I am not. I am so not. So again, when you said you would just assign co-hosts to people, I'm like, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. Like I have no idea who you are, and we might not have anything to talk about because we have nothing. Okay. What?
Yeah, there was
nothing to say.
Like I said, there were a number of reasons that did not happen again. So, but there are some hosts and stuff who are perfectly fine with just being paired up with like I would be fine with random people being assigned to me. So that's why we kind of we used to call it closed and opening. Closed and open recruiting, but we've just sort of streamlined it a little bit since most of our hosts, like the majority of our hosts have hosted quite a bit for the event, so that whenever we get a new host for the event, I can just sort of like focus on them and be like, hey, do you need help in all of this? So
yeah.
Well, like you said, just this event, for whatever reason, a whole lot of people were doing other things, and it was just like all of my normal friends besides Michael were like, I have things to do. And I'm like, that's fair. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm out of options. I don't know. But I forgot what Sam said, but apparently you're right.
Internet waters.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Internet waters. And I thought about it. I was like, should we try to move it a week? And I'm like, no, this was literally the only weekend in June I could do. And selfishly, I wanted the weekend that worked for me.
That's fair. Well, if I remember correctly, wasn't last weekend also Father's Day as well? Or yeah. So that
Yeah.
also wouldn't have been super. I imagine there'd be even less people doing stuff, but
Yeah, that would be a busy weekend for sure.
also, Lisa, welcome to the chaos. Yes, I am generally a chaotic person to begin with. Add to that the fact that my brain is not fully awake yet. You're about to watch me act like an absolute buffoon on the internet, which again is there forever. So entertainment. Lisa also ordered Chipotle, and you know what? We do need to know. That's appreciated.
What did you order from Chipotle? You can't just like skip me on the details like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the word I wanted, but that's the word we're getting.
Gotcha. Lisa also said that worked out well that one time because isn't that how the Troubles met? Oh yeah, that's how the entire that. I don't want to say cult, but it feels like a cult began.
I would say it did specifically work out for the Troublemakers. I don't want to say it worked out for everybody because that would not be true. But it did work out for the Troublemakers, which is because of the Troublemakers and their origin story. That is part of why we do offer, like, if you don't care who's co-hosting and you don't want to deal with recruiting, that's part of why we will do it for you.
Makes sense. But yes, the Troublemakers origin story. Every time I see them on screen together, I know it's about to be like, get out the popcorn, because Lord knows that's going to be entertaining.
So I'm in the Year of Favorites readathon, right? Mm-hmm. And there's somebody's favorite book because next month we're doing LGBTQ. That's the theme. And somebody put Backhanded Compliment as a book. And I saw the cover, and it's tennis lesbians, it looks like. And I was like, oh, Katie was writing a book like this. And then I'm writing my list for my July books, and I see the name Katie Chandler, and I'm like, why does that name look so familiar? It's our Katie. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Katie.
Yeah.
I know you.
I felt so out of the loop. I knew she was being published. I knew her book was coming out soon. And I knew vaguely what her book was about. And yet still it did not connect until I saw her picture connected to the book. But my library has it now. So that's really cool.
Oh, nice.
I'm on a very long waiting list.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, that's good for her. That's kind of sad for you.
And worst come to worst, I'll just buy it. Like I did Wallace's. So.
Morgan said she would have co-hosted, but she was traveling this weekend. Oh, where have you been traveling to? I'm interested. That sounds fun.
The amount of people traveling this weekend is astonishing. So don't feel bad, Morgan. It's fair.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we just need to rethink June as a whole.
I was thinking about that, Sarah. I was like, maybe after June, you and I have a discussion about which months to actually do.
Yikes. Is there something going on this weekend in the States, at least?
No, July 1st is next week. So it could be that a lot of people are traveling this weekend
to avoid next weekend.
Yeah. Okay. That is just my theory.
I mean, this is also right around the time where school has let out. It's been a few weeks. That's usually that first week of summer, a lot of people don't vacation because they're still getting their lives together and figuring out what the kids are going to do at home if both parents are working. But after a few weeks, that's typically when people start doing their summer vacations. So that might also have something to do with it. Also, CB confirmed it was Father's Day last week. Yeah. I also don't really celebrate it, but some people would. So I also found out that it's the 20th most celebrated holiday in America, which I can't even list 20 holidays. So
I kind of want to try, but I also don't. But
I'm just like, that's so interesting that it managed to get all the way to 20 when I can't think of
Yeah,
20 to begin with.
I would have thought it'd be higher than that.
Yeah,
What would
like,
be like number one?
I'm pretty sure it's Christmas.
Okay.
Um, I know Mother's Day is like top 3, but which again is such a staggering difference. But
So, like you said in the States, right?
yeah,
yeah, in the U.S.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, right? And then Mother's Day?
maybe also Easter's probably up there.
Yeah.
4th of July.
Mother's Day beats 4th of July and Easter?
Hold on, we're about to go down this rabbit hole.
I feel like wow. I mean Mother's Day 3rd and then Father's Day 20th? What happened to the 17 in between?
Exactly. Let's see. Okay, so Christmas is first, Thanksgiving second, Halloween is third. Okay, so Mother's Day is not that high. I'm wrong. But 4th of July was fourth, funnily enough. New Year's Day, Easter,
Okay.
Valentine's. Labor Day is higher than Mother's Day, which is interesting. Memorial Day, MLK, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Veterans, St. Patrick's, Cinco de Mayo, President's Day, Earth Day. Wow, I get maybe they just didn't include it in the list because neither of them are up there.
Oh.
Anyway, before I get too far down that research rabbit hole, um,
That does
Lisa
sound
got
about right though. Like as you were just listing them off, that sounded about right to me.
yeah. Lisa got a bowl and then chips and queso and blackberry. Ease? Does
Sounds.
someone want to correct me on that?
I don't know.
Is it? Is?
Ease? I don't know. No, I like it being June because it's my birthday month. Lisa says you have to keep it specifically for her. Morgan said she's been to Branson, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, Kentucky, Philadelphia, New York City, and New Jersey. In just a week? God damn.
What are you
At
doing?
that point, you spent all of your time traveling and not actually at the places. She said mom wanted to go on a road trip for her 60th birthday, and all of her kids, and this was the only week we had free.
Oh,
Makes sense.
nice.
That's still not a whole lot of time of like looking at the places, but that's still cool that you're.
Yeah.
You spend like a day in each place.
Probably.
Yeah.
Exactly how long the trip was.
Mm-hmm. And of all the places in CB was only at New York City and New Jersey. CB wants to name the 20 holidays. Unfortunately, I already,
People were
read through them. Okay. Halloween is my favorite. The list I'm looking at has mothers at 5 and fathers at 10.
Oh.
Okay, that sounds less depressing than at 20. CB is St. Patrick's is probably somewhere in there. St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo. I know nothing about U.S. holidays. What about Star Wars Day? Honestly, for a meme holiday, that's kind of high on the list out of all of the meme holidays.
I feel like about 5 years ago it was where I live a bit more popular than it is now.
Crazy Color Burst said Juneteenth was yesterday, so that might be why so many people are traveling.
No.
Maybe because like work, a lot of people had work off, so I guess that makes sense. OMG, y'all! I just put my times into TrackBear, and I almost at my goal. Nice. I don't know what TrackBear is, but I'm proud of you. Done did it.
I'm about to Google it. That sounds like a stats thing, and I like me some stats.
Also, Lisa said, I'm thinking it's pronounced like Izzy. So, Blackberry Izzy.
Okay. I learned something.
Morgan said we spent a day in each place. We have family in New York City or New Jersey. Sorry, so we've been there about 4 days, and we're real close to New York City. That makes sense.
Yeah. I know that Nashville is only 2 hours away from Kentucky, so it wouldn't have taken long to get between those two.
Yeah, as a Texan, it's very hard to remember that other states don't take a whole day to drive in between.
Well, it depends on the state and what direction. If you're going north to south or south to north in Tennessee, you can get through the state in about, I want to say, 5 hours. But if you're going from like east to west or west to east, that'll take you all day.
And it's like 2 time zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in central, but East Tennessee is eastern.
Yeah. Okay.
So, funny story, when I was growing up, all of my mom's side of the family lives out in North Carolina. And one of the cousins, cousin in whatever branch, was in El Paso for a work trip, just like 2 days. And he called up my mom like, hey, you want to come like grab dinner with us? Again, Houston to El Paso. She was like, the fuck, we are not. We are not driving down for a quick dinner with you. 13 hours. Hell no.
13
like,
hours?
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Texas is like, I want to say 3rd or 4th state largest out of the 50 states.
I did know that you could be in North Texas and drive for 4 hours and still be in North Texas.
Yep. And again, that's the panhandle. There's still the I want to say from the top tip to the very bottom, it's roughly 19 hours going the speed limit.
Okay.
So yeah, it is. We had to break the news to him. Sorry, we're not driving down that far.
You could do it, but you'd have to have like a couple of meals in between, like, you know. It would just be a dinner. It wouldn't be the dinner.
What's the 2?
No, Texas is the second.
Oh, okay, second one. Okay.
Only
California
outside, no.
Height-wise. But yes, Alaska is the first by far.
Yeah, but like even though California is tall, it's not super wide. So Alaska is the only state that outsizes Texas based on area.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's Alaska, Texas, California?
I don't
Assumedly.
know. Hold on.
I think so.
I would think so, right?
CB flew down to Houston for Star Wars Day. 10 out of 10. All of those words are.
Because like I said, Cali is long, but I don't know how wide it is. Okay, yeah, California is the 3rd. Mm-hmm. And then it's Montana. But it's only got like 20,000 on Montana, I think.
Joe says they're on line 15 of 65 on their tedious spreadsheet, but they're picking up speed, so hopefully this will be finished in the next couple hours. I hope you can finish so you can get to those book thoughts. You can do it. Chatting. So Morgan said we got caught in a freak thunderstorm on top of a tour bus in New York City. Pouring rain, hail, and high winds completely lasted 20 minutes. Oh no! Oh no!
Like one of those open double-decker tour buses.
I think so. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, I feel so bad. And for the mom's birthday too. Yeah, Texas is the second biggest. Sarah says I can be in England, drive 4 hours, and be in France. We be tiny. I mean, to be fair, Texas is also just America, like US is relatively large. Europe has very like this, and then the Americas is just like big.
Yeah,
Europe all of them in this little tiny pocket.
Most of, if not all of our states could be the equivalent of a country in size.
Yeah.
That's part of why technically, in order to be classified in order to be added to the US as an official state, you have to be able to fund yourself, and essentially you have to be able to function as your own entity, and then you can be added, which is why Puerto Rico has not been added as an official state and it's just a territory, which is a little messed up because from what I know, Puerto Rico wants to be a state and Hawaii doesn't. So
yeah, that could be
not
a whole...
all of our states can actually function on their own without federal funding. So
there's a lot of states that have more going in federal taxes than going out. But that would be a entire chat of itself.
Yeah.
Doing very well. In 2022, CB went on from New York City to DC by bus. Nice.
That's not like a short ways, but it's not too
Yeah.
I think.
Also, that like northeast side of the country tends to have a lot more public transportation than down here, because trains aren't a thing, subways aren't a thing, public buses are either you're gonna get shot or they don't exist. Everyone's expected to have their own car, which is why if you look up Texas interstates, they are tens of lanes wide and still are ridiculous amount of traffic.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Last year or the year before, we finally got a shuttle that runs from my city to Nashville, so I can take that to the airport. It is not free, but it is worth, like, it's about the equivalent to what I would pay in gas, and I don't have to deal with Nashville traffic. So,
true enough.
Very worth it.
CB said it took 10 hours to get from London to Glasgow by road and 4 hours by train, which again is why I would love for there to be public transportation, but there just really isn't.
They like to tease us a lot with like, this state's gonna build a bullet train, and then like it
just doesn't. That's why my mother had to learn to drive when she went to live in Houston in 2005, 2004. Yeah. I don't know if this is just a Texas thing, but it's so driver dependent. Like,
I want to say a lot of the South and Midwest, I know for sure, are very driver dependent, especially since there's a lot of farms and ranches and everything, and they take up a lot of like acres. My city was originally four or five towns that they eventually just decided we're just going to be one city. So like it takes me 20 to 30 minutes to get to any part of town from where I live. Like literally it takes me 10 to 15 minutes to drive out of my residence because I'm in the like a residential part of town. So my like area right here is just houses.
Yep. Yeah, it's I'm just gonna put this up here while I talk about it. Houston is like such a broad term. Like you can drive 3 hours in Houston and still be in Houston, and you are just like, it's not even that you're like looping around, you're just going in a direction. And I think that's why Houston drivers are so aggressive, is because we're so over it. I'm just like, I'm not going to sit here in traffic for 45 more minutes just because you want to merge into my lane stupidly. I will go around you. And it's just like everyone just is trying to get everywhere as fast as humanly possible, ignore the laws, ignore the speed limit. Who cares? This is a construction lane. I will get in it anyway. Like everything is just so aggressive all the time. And so it's like when you start driving and you're like, oh, okay, rural, and then you get there and you're like, oh my God, Houston, what the fuck? Why is no one using turn signals? Why is everyone just shooting in between lanes? And you're just like, that's just how Houston is, and I don't know why. CB says it's like Mario Kart on steroids. It really is. It really is.
Like even with the banana peels and everything.
There's a whole lot of potholes, Potholes. There's oh god, what's his name? Rich Dame TV 2, I think it is the username. But he has a TikTok and an Instagram, and basically all he does, his whole thing is he'll go to different places of Houston and like a news reporter just scream at the screen at how shit the roads are. And he has such a following that some places, like, because they get so much flack from his account, went and fixed the potholes. And so in each of his videos, they're like, please come to this place. Please come to this parking lot. Fix this shit. Please help me out. Oh,
Uh,
it's like a whole thing. But every time
He's doing a national service.
he really is, though. Not more dangerous. Not more dangerous. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it's more dangerous because in Mario Kart, if I go off the track, the Koopa is gonna bring me back on.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. We toured the baseball stadium. It was awesome. Yes, the Astrodome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know they rebranded it. I'm refusing to accept it.
Oh, did they rename
Yes,
it?
they did, and it looks it. No, it's every single Houstonian is like, that's incorrect. We're never going to. No,
Yeah.
that's nah.
In Nashville, there is a building that I have known as the Batman building my entire life. And like when my husband first moved here and we would go to Nashville and I'd be like, the Batman building, because it's shaped like Batman's head.
Gotcha.
And he's just like, he's like, there's no way that that's what it's called. And I was telling my friend Chrissy about it, whom is also like raised here, and she's like, yeah, no, the Batman building. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me. And I Googled it. It has a Wikipedia page because it used to be like the Bell South Tower, but I was like, what is there now? So I just Googled like the Nashville Batman building, and it like popped up, and I'm like, oh, huh. And it's like locals colloquially call it the Batman building. I'm like,
So it's not just you. That's all that
no,
matters.
it's not. Apparently, it's the local thing, and I'm like, I have never been more proud of my fellow Tennesseans, at least the ones in my area.
Yeah.
Lisa said that the rich man channel I was talking about that is advocacy of a sort. It really is. Like, and also if they do go back and fix it, he'll go back to that same location and like scream at the camera again, saying like, "This is what we do and we talk about. This is what we should have been doing this whole time." like he'll go back and do the updates, and like some of them update it like kind of half-assery, and so he'll yell at them again to keep fixing it. But yeah, it's definitely advocating for. And yes, I love that you call it the juice box. I never even memorized the new name, to be honest with you. I couldn't even tell you what they changed it into. It's just wrong. Every time I drive past it, I'm like, this is incorrect. And Lisa says she may know the Batman building.
Google it. Google Batman building Nashville. It'll pop up.
CB said when they were in New York City last time, they were trying to find Stark Tower and couldn't find it. How old were you? I really need to know. Gentle reminder, don't forget to spread. That I was getting to the end of the comments, and that was the next plan. Yes, I'm sorry, Sarah. On that note, now that we got called out, we will be going back to sprinting. So let me just add that to the stage. Thank you, Sarah.
Yay.
Hello. Oh, goodness. Fuck. I barely wrote like 50 words. My dishwasher went off, and so I unloaded that, and then I decided since I was already in the kitchen, I would grab a snack, and then came back, and it was like 3 minutes left, and I was like, well, there you go.
I was catching up a friend on some writer things, and then so my goal this weekend is to beta read for RP Brogan, and I have 60 something pages to read in total. And I'm on section 1, which is 37 pages, which according to this is like 17,800-ish words. But as we know, I have a migraine, and it's making it very hard to focus. And so I'm trying to like read. And I read like the first half of the first page 3 times, and it still didn't sync. And I was like, if only I could listen to this like an audiobook. And then I was like, wait a moment.
I can.
My phone has a document thing on it that has a read aloud feature. And I'm like, I can. And so, but like, because of the way my migraine's pulsing, I can't just focus on the words. So I'm listening and reading at the same time. And with these powers combined, I'm processing. So I'm somewhere in page 3 now.
Gotcha. Hello, Michael.
Hello. Sorry I'm late.
All good. I feel like I'm the only one who has to be on time. The rest of y'all can, like, you know, dip out as needed, but, like, otherwise the timer's just gonna keep playing.
For me, so the first 2 streams I was editing, but this third stream...
Are you from the future?
Yeah. This one was like a life sprint. Did I say stream? Sprint. That's what I meant.
Yeah. You did say streams. That's why I was teasing you.
Yeah. Today's garbage day, so I had to go to the curb to collect the garbage bins, and then I made a sandwich, like a English muffin sandwich, and ate it.
So Lisa.
Did Lee cut out for you, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Hi, yes, testing. Hello. Is that better? Okay. I might have just bumped the mic when I went like this, but Lisa said that she basically confirmed it was the Batman building. Also, CV, I'm not going to clown you too much, but that's just funny to me that you thought Stark Tower was real. I mean, it would be great if it was, but it you know. But Esty finished the emails. Yay!
Woohoo!
Setting up. Now needs to work on other AuthorTube, writing, convention, admin, like setting up the other appearances, live streams, and did I say that right? Is that what you said?
No,
writing conference.
Convention, it's conference.
Damn.
Sorry, I sounded harsher than I meant to because I was.
No, I just heard you speaking. I didn't hear what you said. That's why I was like, shit. Why did we interrupt?
Is the AuthorTube writing conference?
That. Like setting up the other appearances, live stream, and show outlines. Nice. Sarah was upset that you reminded her she needs to find beta readers for her.
I upset many people with reminding them of responsibilities. It's a talent.
It's reciprocal because you reminded me I had to sprint. So you know, you give and you take. So you know.
That's right.
According to the research I did, they used it for when they filmed Stark Tower. Oh, okay. So you wanted to see like the building, not the actual. Okay. Less clowning, even still. I understand that. I was like, ma'am.
It happens.
Okay. CV said 135 words by hand.
Nice.
Couldn't be me.
I am always impressed by the counting of the words by hand.
Does that mean you also counted it by hand, or do you have like some way to do that quickly, CV? Because like one of my friends writes by hand, and what she does is when she gets to the end of the line, she'll count out the words and write it on the end, and then she'll just add up the ones on the side. And I'm like,
Um,
but I feel like I just lose my flow every time I have to stop mid sentence to count out what the line was.
mhm.
Well, something that like I had to do for one of my kids when they were like reading, because it was the younger grades, they would have to read from a page, and then I would have to fill out how many words they read, right? And at first, when the teacher put out this assignment, they would just put how many like words were at the end of a paragraph, but that doesn't always work because, you know, if the time gets up when they're in the middle of a paragraph. So I would count them at the end and then like put the numbers that way. And then like by the end of the year, the teacher also had the numbers. So I was like, I don't know if they saw my writing on my kids' homework or not. So I think what I would do if I were writing by hand is I would like when I finish, I would go back and count by line and then put it there at the end and then add it all up. So it's sort of like that's the middle ground where you're not stopping while you're writing, but you also don't have to worry about losing track and having to start over to count.
Makes sense.
This could be a little bit of a hot take, but I would probably just estimate as best I could. I would like do a little bit of counting first to see like I would eyeball like a line that I felt had a little bit more words, and then I would count those, and then I would look at another line that I felt had like the least number of words,
I
and
mean,
then I would count that and
That
just
feels like more math, though.
and
in
then
all
the
fairness,
middle number, and then multiply that by the number of lines.
if I were writing by hand, I would probably just say I did half a page. I did a full page. I would just go by pages. That's what I do when I'm reading. So,
well, it's also like I'm sure, not that AI is good generally, but like I feel like you could just take a picture of it and be like, how many words is on this page, and it would just bing.
I will do a disclaimer that I don't think AI is bad. I think generative AI is highly questionable, and there's a lot of nuance in the discussion with that. But AI in general is fine.
Well, that's what I meant more so. Like,
yeah, I just wanted to be clear. I have a friend who was very passionate about this, and anytime like I have a discussion on screen and people are talking about AI and they don't specify generative AI, I get DMs. So that's why. But like spell check has been one of the earliest forms of AI that I have used frequently, and you can pry spelling and grammar checks out of my cold dead hands.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic. I need them.
It's one of those things where like AI should be used to do all the mundane things that humans don't want to do, but instead it's used for all the things that make humans human. And it could be used so differently, and I would love it. It's just not.
Yes.
Sarah said she was working on chapter 3 and then got an idea for chapter 4, so now she's working on that. And CB did in fact count it by hand. Congratulations.
Yeah.
She hates hybrid drafting, but it's essential to prevent my handwriting from getting worse.
Very fair.
What is hybrid drafting?
I would assume they type part of the draft and they write part of the draft.
Yeah.
Makes sense. They count 20 words, circle, and then count the circles. Smart.
Okay.
That certainly would keep from losing track and then having to start over. Hello. I was told to count the words on the first line, then multiply that by the number of lines. That is a good estimate, but like, again, if you want accuracy, there's like, again, some words are very small, some words are very big, some lines aren't going to be all the way full because you're paragraphing, and it's just
and dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just gets real weird depending on how your writing style is. Sarah says if I wrote by hand, I would not be able to easily read 75% of it afterwards.
I feel called out.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, if I try, I have what's called elementary teacher handwriting, according to my mom, where it's like, the pretty font, like, handwriting. But if I'm just, like, writing for myself, it's like chicken scratch. Like, the print letters somehow are still connected because I just don't pick up my pencil.
Oh.
So it's like cursive-esque, but it is print style, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
CB says, considering AI can't understand my handwriting, I doubt it would understand how many words I wrote.
Very fair.
Valid.
AI just guesses.
I just don't want AI to become what it was in Avengers: Age of Ultron. I feel like that's everyone's fear. Like, eventually that robots would just get to that point, but one of my friends makes a point to say please and thank you in every single question that it sends. They send all the AIs, so, like, if that doesn't get to the point, maybe they would survive because they were nice to the robots.
It's smart. That's thinking ahead.
Wise decisions.
Yeah, Lisa never got her Chipotle.
Do I need to fight him? I'll fight you.
Yeah, I know. I feel like someone needs to call corporate because that's some bullshit right there. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Oh.
CB, handwriting it and typing it and expanding while typing.
I used to do in high school. I would write, like, I'd have a journal and I would work on my fan fiction chapters in the notebook, and then when I would get home, I would type it up and I would expand on it. Expand, fix my spelling errors in the grammar and whatnot.
Yeah.
I do kind of that, but I just start in the writing program. Like, there's a lot of, like, chapters in my writing where it's only like 200 words, but in reality it's just this happens, this dialogue, and it's all shorthand, and then I have to go back and, like, basically rewrite it, but it has the, like, outline in each chapter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I do that with like, outside of my, because I outline for my novels and stuff, but if I'm like we do the flash fiction free-for-all on my channel, and during it we essentially have an hour, like 2 30-minute sprints to write a flash fiction based on a prompt that chat votes on, and I don't know why I have an alarm for right now, but sorry, threw me off. Oh, and so what I will do is I will write the prompt at the top of my document, and then I will lightly outline it maybe. Or I'll just be like, I want these things to happen. So
that's what I was talking about, though, when I said, like, I wasn't sure what my word count is, because what I'll do is I'll type it out and then I'll delete the original outline, so it's like it doesn't count that it's new words, because in its brain, like, the words were already there, but they weren't. Also, CB said that they didn't want to lose the skill of handwriting. Valid, but I do it for my job, so I never really... I don't have that concern, but I can see why someone who doesn't do that.
Also, isn't it amazing how back in the day they had such beautiful handwriting? Like, if you watch the documentaries and stuff, you go to the museums. It's really beautiful.
It's like calligraphy.
Yeah. Yeah, like, penmanship was considered a very valuable skill. So they actually taught them penmanship. My aunt used to make me, because I still don't have the best handwriting, but I had absolutely terrible handwriting, and she would make me redo my homework until it was legible. Also, years later, I was at my friend's house, her mother was a nurse, and I was drawing, and she was like, why do you hold your pencil in your right hand like a left-handed person? And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, that's how, because, like, I drew and stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
So I put my pencil in my left hand, and I wrote, and it was already better than the writing in my right hand. but by
Interesting.
then the habit had already been trained into me. So now I'm ambidextrous. I also shoot a bow better left-handed, but can do so right-handed. So
Interesting. This is kind of off topic, but like, again, penmanship kind of went off because again, you could just type in a computer. So like we were taught typing when I was growing up, but now like most kids know how to type on a phone and they don't know how to use a mouse. So
Oh,
I like in my classes, I make a point to go to the computer lab and force them to use the mouse, and they're like, "But it's a touchscreen monitor." I'm like, "No, I don't
oh,
care if I sound like a boomer right now. You have to figure out what on earth the mouse does. Because if you get to, whatever, and you get a monitor that doesn't have a touchscreen, I don't want you sitting there going like, I don't know what button does what, and looking
my
like an idiot in
my
your job
children
market.
my children are gamers, so I don't got to worry about that.
That's
hmm.
fair. That is very fair. Um, these skills are very important. I want to go ahead and start another sprint just so, again, we have time to finish before, um, you know,
Hmm.
all of the stuff. Oh, God, I didn't mean to start it yet. Boink. Boinka. 15 minutes instead of 20, so we're not going over. Cough, cough, Sam. Just kidding.
Can Sam go over Sam?
The shade.
Hello. Oh goodness. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many words I wrote. It is literally the same as of like one word off, but I went around moving around and deleting some stuff for like 4 chapters and adding various things. So all around productive. Just couldn't fucking tell you based off the word count.
Nice. Yeah, I kept on with the reading through and editing, as in, highlighting of the parts I want to edit. Yeah. So for me, that's like an editing sprint, an editing, and then a life one, and then an editing for the 4.
Nice. I am on page 10 now. So
Nice. I'm glad you got yourself into a groove. I'm assuming Sarah's bedtime is now, so good night, Sarah. CB wrote 285 words.
Ooh.
And made another Hamilton reference in chapter 2. Solid.
fair enough.
There's about 15 minutes left before the next sprint by I want to say Shannon. Yes, stream, not sprint. We've got both wrongs. I believe it by Houston. I might be wrong, but yeah, get yourself ready. Walk around your domicile. Get some water.
Stream 2 host is actually Alice, I believe.
Yeah, I'm wrong. My bad. Sorry, Alice. Is it Alice? I don't know.
I'm doubly checking my stream schedule.
Oh, Alice is next. Okay. I'm sorry. Please. I hope that you do eventually get your Chipotle. Oh, okay. That's why I saw her face on the thing and just my brain went. Anyway, most welcome for the productivity. I'm sorry you had to call us out on our yapping.
It's what we do.
I feel like she can't get too mad at me because, other boss is also here and you didn't yell at me, so I think we're safe. I don't think I'm going to get fired. But Stacy got a few more words in, is tired. Possibly take a nap, possibly doing another life. Have to see. But I appreciate y'all being here. Again, check out lovely people. I don't know if Michael technically has a place to check out, but we exist. So
yeah.
So yeah, appreciate y'all. Do y'all want to do outros or y'all? I mean, we already did the look for things.
I just want to say I now know the real reason Lee let me come on, so that I could be blamed for all of the not sprinting.
Well, you're not going to be on the next one, so we'll see if the yapping also is.
No, I'm on stream 2.
Well, I meant my next one as in stream 5. Most welcome. I don't know. We'll find out. Appreciate y'all. Have a grand old time. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.